Hello, it's Fiona Whitten from Oakville Crafts here, and I hope you're having a good day. Today I'm here to share how to make a very cute handbag fold card. Some of you may have seen the picture that I posted on Facebook, at least I hope you have, and I'm going to talk you through how to make it. But first, before I do that, I'm going to try and make sure that this is actually going live. Let's see. Oh, it says I am, which is good. Apparently if I swipe left I can see comments. Oh, right, brilliant. Okay, so it's the first time I've actually ever managed to see it and be doing it at the same time. So the card that I posted on, well, the picture that I posted on Facebook looks like this. So this is the front view. Side view is like this. So this is why it's called a handbag fold, because it kind of, this bit here kind of creates the handbag. And then I do have a Velcro dot, hence the noise. And then inside, mine's just very simply decorated. So this paper is actually Beauty of the Earth paper. And then I've used various stamps and things to decorate the inside. So I'm going to be sharing how to make this piece and to finish off a card. It's really up to you at the end of the day how you want to do this. Okay, so without further ado, I'm just going to fold that up. And the nice thing about this card is that it folds flat, like so, and then it will fit well, it should fit a standard UK envelope, she says. So here's our standard UK envelope, and yeah, so not an issue posting it in the UK. It'll also fit the standard US size as well, because it's I want to say 4¼ by 5¼ when it's folded. Let's double check. I know someone asked me yesterday what was the finished size, and I told them, and then I completely forgot. Yeah, 4¼ by 5½. So that's the finished size. But it will fit in the standard envelope, so that's not an issue. Oops. I think the only problem is if you put your Velcro dot behind here, is that sometimes you'll end up bending that bit. So as I said, this is the Beauty of the Friendship paper. If you want to know, this die that looks like a ticket here, that is from the Bloom dies, which comes with an embossing folder. You can't separate them out. Okay, so that's that. I do have one other to show you, but I will share that with you later. So the Beauty of the Earth paper, together with the hand-penned paper that I am going to use this morning. I say this morning, where you are, it's not this morning. So the hand-penned paper is in the sale. So at the moment you can get 15% off, and that's good until the 2nd of August. So if you want to grab your piece of cardstock and your trimmer, you will need both a cutting blade and a scoring blade. So here's my trimmer. So this is my cutting blade. So it's dark grey, and my cutting blade, and then the light grey is my scoring blade. And then it's quite nice because they actually will sort of tuck away, so you can use one without the other. So what you need to do is you're going to get your cardstock, and I'm going to have to pull the arm out on this. And you want to cut it, and I'm going to be working in inches today, just so you know. So you want to cut it so that it's 10½ inches by 5½ inches. Now this is not going to be 10½ inches wide. It's only 8¼ So I know that I need to cut this here at the 5.5, and then I've got a piece at that all the way down the length of the side to use for the other piece that I need. So I'm just going to put that to one side. So that's my 5.5, and then I'm going to cut it at 10.5. So I'm not going to have much left from the length. So I'll put those two pieces aside. So here's so I've got my 5.5 inches by 10.5 inches. Now I'm going to turn it so that the long side is at the top of my trimmer, and I'm going to score it. As I said, I'm going to score, it's all in inches, so I'm going to score it. So I do not want my cutting blade. I must remember to put that out of the way. So I'm going to score it at 4.25 inches, at 5.25 inches, and at 6.25, which is from here. But if you don't feel confident about getting your 6.25, just turn it around and score it at 4.25 from that end. Because then you've got two lots of 4.25, and then you've just got those bits that are 1 inch. So that's the scoring on that piece. Then you want to bring back, and you want to make another piece that is 5.5 by 2.75. Now this is 2.75 wide, which is really lucky. So I'm going to cut it at 5.5. Like so. Put my cutting blade out the way. So this, as I said, this is 5.5 by 2.75, and then I'm going to turn it so that the short end is at the top along the trimmer, and I am going to score it at 1/2 inch. So here's my, and the nice thing about the trimmer is it has measurements both sides of this channel, which is the channel that gets used for the cutting and the scoring. So I can line it up at this 1/2 inch or this 1/2 inch, but I'm going to line it up here because it's easier for me to see. So that's 1/2 inch, and I'm going to score it like that. So we have now got two pieces of card, and I forgot to say to you, this is Pale Papaya, which is one of the new in colours. So we have one piece that has 2 score lines on it, and we have another piece that has 1 score line on it. So this is the basic card. Then we're going to have some fun, and we're going to cut the designer series paper. So first off, I'm going to cut for the pieces on the front. So you need one piece that is 5.25, and in fact they're all 5.25 wide. So I'm just going to cut down at 5.25, like so. And then you need a piece that is 4 inches, and you need a piece that is 2 inches. Now, all these measurements will go up on the Facebook page. So I've got 5.25 by 4 and 5.25 by 2, and amazingly they fit on here. So this one's going to go on here, and this one will go on here in a minute, but we need to do some folding first. So I'm just going to put my trimmer to one side at the moment. There is a bit more still to do, but it's mainly for the inside of the card. So you're going to take your larger piece of cardstock that has the 3 score lines, okay? So it doesn't really matter at the moment. So the middle score line, you want to make that a mountain fold. And when I say mountain, it means that it's coming up towards you. So it looks like, basically it looks like you're making a card. Okay, so you've got your mountain fold, and then the other two are valley folds, which means that they're going down, like so. That's one, and that's two. So you end up, if I turn this on its end, you end up with a W. Like that. Okay, and then the front and the back should match up. And for some reason, I'm just slightly out. I'm trying to find my bone folder. You really do need to make sure that they all the crease lines are burnished properly. So they need to be good and firm. I can't find my bone folder, but you know what? An acrylic block works just as well. So that's those two, and then I want to make sure that I've done the one on the inside as well. So just burnish those. Okay, so that's that. You then want to take the smaller piece, and with the score line at the top, you want to fold that top piece away from you, so effectively you're making another mountain fold like that. And again, you want to burnish that. So you've got like a little L shape like that. Okay. So now we're going to have the fun part. We're going to put these together. So this piece here, this little bit here, the bit that's folded over, you're going to glue that to the inside back piece. So this is my card. Here's my fold in the middle, and I'm just going to glue this piece at the top here. You can use glue or you can use tear tape. It's really up to you, but it needs to be something that's strong. Well, actually, to be honest, it doesn't need to be that strong, because it's not like you're going to be using it as a handbag. But so you need to put some glue on here, and you need to make sure that the fold. Actually, I'm going to move my piece of basic white cardstock out the way, because knowing me, I will get glue on it. So you want to line up this fold with this top edge, or the bottom edge here that you're looking at now, so that this flat bit goes, small flat bit goes on the inside. So if you just fold it over, and then you can just manipulate it a bit with the glue to make sure that it's level. So this piece now creates your flap that goes over the front. So what will happen is your card will go closed like that, and then this piece, and it's important to make sure that this bit does actually fold over. Maybe I need to have a little bit of leeway, otherwise I might just have to take a small slither off this just to make sure that it does close. Because although I've lined it up perfectly, obviously my scoring was not brilliant. So I just need to take a small amount, and this is where the trimmer comes in handy. If you really just need a small amount, then what I tend to do is I will line it up here along the dark edge, and then I know I'm only taking off a minuscule amount, but at the same time I know that it's actually straight because I have my card at the top here, and so it's just another way of using your trimmer. And then the nice sharp blade that's in there means that you do literally take off a slither. Much easier than trying to take a pair of scissors to it. So this now folds over perfectly. So this is your basic handbag card. And what's left now is the fun part. So it's all the decorating, and it's really then up to you what you want to do. So I'm using the hand penned petals paper. So I'm going to, this is the small piece that we cut, and then this is the larger piece that we cut. So they're going to get glued on here. So I would suggest you open up your card so that you don't want to see the piece that you've stuck on, so it's the other side that you're working on. So this is the flap, and then it's been glued on the back. So you don't want to see that bit, you just want to see this side. So you're going to glue those two pieces of double-sided paper that you've already cut onto here. So the smaller piece goes on the smaller panel. So that's on one end. It's not the end of the world if you do end up having glue them the other way. You're just going to have to make sure that you then refold the other way. So both sets of paper should be on the same side. One on one end and the other on the other end. It's probably a good idea to try and get non-directional paper, simply because it doesn't really matter if it's upside down, but if you want to check, then obviously just double check which way you want it before you glue it. So I quite like it that way round. So that's how I'm going to glue it. I'm just going to flip it and glue it. So, a bit round the edge and a bit in the middle, and a squiggle in the middle. So that's then going to get put on here. Like so. Now ideally, if you're going to put a handle on it, then the best thing to do is to use ribbon, simply because it's easy to fold up and then it doesn't interfere with the actual finished shape, because obviously you can just simply fold it into the card. So this one, the first card that I made, I didn't have any ribbon at the time, so this is actually baker's twine. So it's the white baker's twine, and I just got a really long length, folded it over a few times and twisted it just to kind of make a type of rope. And then rather than gluing the ends onto the inside of the card, I tied it in a knot and then made a little tassel to go on the side here. So that's how I did that one. Now I do actually have a piece of pale papaya ribbon left over from last week's card in the cup. In fact, I've actually got two pieces. Now if you're going to fix ribbon inside your card to make that the handle, don't use glue, because all that will happen is that the ribbon will absorb the glue and eventually it'll all just fall off. You would need to use tear tape, or if you're still got supply of that red backing tape, you know, whatever, it needs to be something like that. Glue dots will suffice. Alternatively, you can just simply tie this into a knot and then make the knot a feature, and that's what I'm actually going to do. So I'm going to tie this in a knot, she says. like so. But then I've got another piece of ribbon, so I'm going to use that. So that's my knot. Actually, that's quite cute like that. I need to make sure that goes up there. If you want to make sure that this stays put and doesn't move around, then a couple of glue dots, one each end, will do the trick. Glue dots. It's usually my dimensionals that I lose. Oh, I can see them. So, there they are. So get some glue dots. I'm just going to put one here. Just make sure that's in the middle. Like that. On here. Like so. So there's my, that's that part of the card done. Now I could, if I wanted to, I've got another piece of ribbon that I could use to actually tie another bow and put a bow over this to make more of a feature of it. But it's up to you what you want to do. Obviously, if you just want this to look like a continuous piece of ribbon, then you just need to make sure that you glue the ends. I wouldn't suggest putting a knot in here simply because it would make it bulky and it wouldn't lie flat properly. So that's the outside. We've still got a bit of decorating to do. So we're going to decorate the inside. And again, this is up to you what you want to do. So you could use some coordinating cardstock. You can use some more of the designer series paper, the double-sided paper that you've used for the front. You don't necessarily have to use the same side. You could mix and match it and use the reverse side. I quite like the polka dots. So I'm going to put a piece on here. So I need to cut for the inside a piece that is 5 1/4 by 4. It's for this piece here. Now if you want to decorate this piece, then you just use exactly the same again. Another 5 1/4 by 4. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some paper on this side. It's 5 1/4, which we already cut, by 4. So that will go on here like that. If you want to cut another piece, you could put that on here and hide the ribbon. And then actually what's left from your whole length 12 by 12 or your 6 by 6 sheet will fit really neatly. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue these on. You don't have to put that piece on. But just seeing as I've got it, I thought I would. So that's that piece on. And turn this and put this piece on. I hope you guys are all following this. Can you give me a thumbs up so that I know, please? And this is where you don't necessarily need the glue on the ribbony bit, but it's actually quite a good idea, because if you have used glue dots and you've used this sheer ribbon, the glue dots are actually a bit sticky and it will come through. So by putting this on, you've actually covered the piece that will be a bit sticky. So that's that part of the inside. Now this is where you can put some more designer series paper, you can put cardstock, you can put just white or very vanilla depending on what you're doing. So I'm actually going to cut another piece. So this again is going to be 5 1/4 by 4. So that's that piece. So that's going to go in here, and it will partly hide the flap. I might put them that way around so that no, we'll put it that way around. So that's that piece, and then I'm going to put another piece of, but this time I'm going to put just some cardstock on top that I can then use to put a sentiment on. So I need to cut this at let's see, 4 by 2.5. Yeah, I'll do it 4 by 2.5. Just going to cut that. Move that out of the way. 2.5. So that can fit in the middle there, and you can put your message, or you can stamp or do something else. It's up to you. I was just trying to see if that was going to be wide enough to put a little border on it, and it is actually. So you could mount it onto another piece of cardstock. So I'm going to cut this one to be 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. Let's just see, double check, see how wide this is. Well, 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, I said, wasn't it? There we go. So I'm going to put that on top, and then that's the place where I'm actually going to then put my messaging right on that piece. So let's just glue all these in. Let's glue that bit first, like so. I mean, this design can be used to make any sort really of handbag. It depends. You can change the handles out by using dies and making semicircles and all sorts of things. And I'll show you another idea in a minute once we've finished making this, or once I've finished making this. Put that on. And obviously you can make masculine ones. It really depends on, obviously I don't think many men would like a flowery designed one, but you never know. There may be a few men out there that like flowers and would really appreciate it. Right, so that's that piece going in here. So that's where I'm going to write my message. I mean, you could stamp on here and just decorate it. You could, the other thing you could do is just not glue the top there, and then use this to put a gift card in. So there's all sorts of things that you can do. So that's that bit, and then that's bit, and then you do need a Velcro dot or one of those little tiny magnetic clips to keep it shut. So I've got some little Velcro dots, which I got from that well-known online store that begins with A. There are some people selling like 1,000. I do not need 1,000 glue dots. I think this is just the right amount for me. And I never know whether I should have the hooks or the other bits on the bottom. But what I would suggest you do is you actually put them together before you put them on the card. Simply because it makes it a lot easier. And I'm going to put one, I think I'm going to put it here because I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. So make sure that your card's sitting where you want it to and all the edges line up. Just push that down a bit. And then there you go. So there's my almost finished card. And then the last thing to do is, if you want to, you don't have to, is to put something on the front to decorate it. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do, but I think, she says, I think I might just simply, I was going to put, so you could punch a shape, you can die cut a shape. I think I'm just going to put a couple of circles on. Let's see. So I've got my layering circle dies. I've got some, what's left of my sheet of paper. Now I don't want a huge design. But let's see. If that was the innie, make that bit. See, I get away with that. So it's not really like a question of pick a flower. I quite like that one, or we can go for, if we go with that one, actually that's got some different colours in it as well, so I'll do that. Just need to run it through my die cutting machine, so please bear with me a second. I'll try not to take too long. Just have to hope that my die doesn't move. So let's see. So I've got that piece. And now, do I want to use some more pale papaya or introduce another colour? Right, there's that one. Let's see how big that one is in comparison. I think that one will just give us a really tiny little border around it. So it depends on how much of a border you want to have showing. I actually quite like the idea of having a bigger border. So I'm going to go with that. I've got some scrap here because I don't really want to cut up a piece of cardstock, brand new cardstock. So let's see, what have I got? I was hoping I might have a piece of pale papaya in here, but I don't think so. So I'm going to use, no, I've got some daffodil somewhere in here, I know, sorry. I should have prepared for this. What's that? There we go, Daffodil Delight. Use that, because that's one, that's the yellow that's in there. And if it doesn't work, then I'll just change it. Jigs. There we go. So that's that and that. I think maybe it should be pale papaya. but I'm going to stick with that for the time being because that's all I have. If I had another piece of pale papaya, but I don't. Not to hand. Anyway, so you're going to decorate the front however it is that you like it, and then basically that is it. You have your card. So that is, or will be, my finished card. It's up to you whether you glue this on or you use dimensionals, but obviously either way you want to be sure that you're only gluing or fixing it to the top portion. It would be, you don't really want to glue it to the bottom portion because then you won't be able to open your card. Maybe I will finish this off. The picture you see posted later might be different because I might have decided to take this off and put a different colour on the back of it. I try not to do that, but sometimes it just bugs me, and that's that. And I'm actually just going to glue it, so I just need, which way do I want this? I want it so that the pink is at the top. Make sure that I'm just gluing one half of it. Open that up. There's one way of making sure that you don't end up gluing it to something that you're not supposed to. And try and get it so that it's half, it's central. So that's how I've just opened it up and glued it like that. And close it. There we go. So that's that card finished. And I just quickly want to share another one that I've made with you. So this is one I made yesterday. And it's more of a handbag in that I've actually given it a handle. This one has a handle. And how I did this one is I actually made it half an inch longer. But it opens up exactly the same way, and then for me, I actually stamped inside this one. But I also left this as a pocket, so I can put a gift card in there, have that just poking out. So that was just another idea. Obviously this is not as flat and doesn't lie as flat as the other one, so it would have to go as a large letter, and it also will have to go in a slightly larger envelope because of the handle. So there's pros and cons to changing out the handles for something a bit more solid than a bit of ribbon. But food for thought. And then it's up to you, as I said, to how you want to decorate. So this is a stitched rectangle. That little bit there of gold is also a stitched rectangle. It's just one that I cut, and then I recut it to make it slightly shorter. And then that's just a piece of early espresso that I just cut into a rectangle. And then that's a metallic pearl. Okay, right, well, thank you for watching. Next week will be the last card and a cuppa for July. The no card and a cuppas now from next week until September. But I will be going live every Wednesday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon just to share other bits and pieces. Don't forget that the Designer Series paper sale is on. And also, those of you who have ordered from me in the last 6 months, the catalogues are in the post, so hopefully you will receive them this week. And other than that, I'll say thank you for watching, and I will speak to you again soon. Take care. Bye.